Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we're going to be going through and talking about the thoughts of ranking all of the current Void legendaries in the game. It is forever evolving with new champions coming. Obviously, the fusions. We just had two new Void Legos with Vlad as the Halloween fragment event and his partner in crime, Constantine. We've had Leorius and a few new ones. Plus, the game is forever changing, so it's fun to visit this topic every now and then and talk about the most important champions in the game, which is Void legendaries. And I went ahead and did this live on stream. So I'll be talking about the results of that. And last time I had some feedback to maybe try doing it instead of just posting like the clips and highlights from the live stream, do that on Twitch and then try doing a presentation form here on YouTube where I talk about how that went and the results and kind of show that to you guys in a shorter form, more condensed YouTube friendly video. So that is what this is going to be. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, I tried to do it like this. I thought this would be fun to be able to differentiate between PvE and PvP and kind of have a four-cornered chart where obviously the best champions would be in the top right and the worst champions would be right here on the bottom left. Obviously, you see where I was getting started with Yakarl, and then way up there we've got Sify and Warlord and Krisk and stuff, the usual suspects of being great in all areas. But the reason I abandoned this was because they were starting to cover each other up. Like if I start filling up this board, there's just too many on here. This would work better for something like if I were rating the factions in the game, like where there's only 13, 14 things to put on here, or if I'm doing a tier list for like the civilizations in Age of Empires 4, where there's only 8 of them and I could rate them on here. But when you've got this many Void Legos to put on here, I was noticing that I started to kind of get things behind portraits and things are blocking everything, and then it's just going to look really weird. And I can't make the portraits any smaller or make the board bigger with the template that I was using. So I'm going to go ahead and swap it over to the normal kind of tier list view that we're all familiar with, where we go S to C or F or whatever you want to call it. So this is the more default view that I ended up going with, and let's go ahead and crop it in a little bit better. There we go, and that also enables me to be able to pull things up in the index while I'm talking about stuff. And then also for some quick methodology, obviously this is a ranking tier list type thing, so people are always going to have issues with it. It's going to be more of an opportunity to drive discussion and hear where people agree and where they disagree. It's really hard to do this perfectly. What I was doing was kind of trying to hear what the chat was saying. I called Coldbrew and had him kind of collab with me on this. He joined the stream. I was trying to take what he was saying and what the chat was saying and what I was thinking and just doing my best to come up with kind of a consensus of how that whole system and conversation was going and be the tiebreaker. Like when I would hear people arguing, was just trying to get to a consensus and keep things evenly distributed. You don't want to end up with a system where you've got everybody in one tier or something. So you end up having to put champions that you think are pretty good kind of in a lower tier towards the middle a lot of times, where you have people saying like, how can Sir Nick be an A? He is ridiculously game-changing when a new player gets Sir Nicholas. He's crazy, he's HP based, he's got an aura, he does freeze on the A1, he doesn't need any accuracy, like. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but you can't put everybody in the S tier. It's got to be a tiered thing. You want it to have equal representation. So you end up having to make tough calls like that, and that's why it's never going to be perfect. And as far as the ranks, these are Void Legos, so they are the best and most valuable champions in the game. They are very hard to acquire, especially specific ones that you really want. Like if you really want a Sify, your odds of ever having a Sify is going to be pretty low unless you spend a ton of money. So these are the best champions in the game. That's why I didn't go all the way down to F. These champions are never going to hit weak. They're never going to get hit strong by other people. They are Void legendaries. So that's why I went with S plus S. A is like the middle ones, and then you got B and C, so I don't even go down to F because they are Void Legos. Even the worst ones are going to technically be decent. And it also gets really, really difficult because you've got different things like this champion in Platinum Arena versus this champion when a brand new free-to-play player summons them. You know, obviously in that case, you would really want something with support, revive, something to really change an account and help you progress through content. Might be more impactful than a damage dealer, but that damage dealer will help you grind XP faster because they'll be able to smash through the campaign and help you snowball your account faster. So there's a million different things to weigh and kind of consider when you're doing something like this. I just did my best to kind of do a blend of all of that: PvE, PvP, Platinum, late game, early game, mid game, all that type of stuff, and kind of try to blend it into one list as best I could. So I would really appreciate your feedback because it's going to help me. Maybe I can revisit this in a couple months and maybe I'll get common feedback from people and I can adjust these things and do another video here in a few months, 2 or 3 months, and make it even more accurate than it is right now. So now let's go ahead and just I'll kind of give you my quick thoughts on the list here. Right now, the queen, according to the consensus, was still none other than Siphi, the Lost Bride. She just does too much. She's actually been nerfed like probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago. So if you're a new player to raid, Siphi was actually nerfed, but she's still she's too amazing. She's got CC on the A1, and then she's got it cannot be resisted. So her one thing that takes accuracy, she doesn't need it. You can build her with just insane resistance. And then she's also going to heal all allies by 5% of their max HP. We're going to do different things based on the turn meter of the target. We can place block debuffs for 2 turns, which is just insane. And then we're also going to fill the turn meters of all allies. And we're going to place an increased defense and increased speed on all allies. That's just bonkers. So like getting increased defense and speed and block debuffs, those 3 things for 2 turns, it's arguably 3 of the best buffs just in the game, like in terms of general usefulness. Blocking debuffs, increasing defense, and increasing speed. Insane value right there on one ability. She does it all. And we might as well throw in a turn meter boost just to kind of boot as well. Why not? And I don't have to go over every single ability for every single champion, but yeah, for at least the number 1 here, Siphi, then also amazing base stats, 21 something HP, 1200, almost 1300 defense, the 114 base speed. You're going to build her with high resistance, and she's got a base of 40. So yeah, Siphi, there really isn't a whole lot of disagreement there. You did have some pushback on people wanting Warlord above Siphi for, I guess, like Platinum Arena, like super endgame PvP stuff. Warlord is just insane. So there was a little bit of that coming through, but all in all, the consensus tended to be Siphi. So you've got Siphi, Krisk, and a Warlord as the top 3. Hegemon, a PvP specialist. Arbiter, who you get from finishing the missions, obviously just generally useful, great in all content. Lydia for finishing faction wars, so amazing, as similar to Siphi, just brings so much to the table. Lots of buffs, lots of debuffs, pretty good base stats. Nekarit and Ursaga are new Void Legos that are really emerging on the scene and being very sturdy anchors of a team to really help you stay alive longer and get a lot done in a fight. And I did try to make it so you have different tiers within each line. So you have like the top of S+, and then it goes to the right and kind of works its way down. So your champions that are low S+ and high S are going to be basically the same. And it's just, you know, you're splitting hairs to kind of narrow between the two there. Cardiel, Tormund, as we get kind of through, you know, most of those ones in the middle are, you know, people have disagreements on exactly where they should be, but the consensus on the S and the A of them being kind of in the middle was pretty unanimous. And then B, you see, unfortunately, we have got the Fusion and then his partner in crime, his tandem ability, Constantine, are down here in the B. Now, the unfortunate part of that is people think it just kind of dilutes the pool. So basically, when you pull a Void Legendary, your odds of getting Siphi, Warlord, Krisk, that type of stuff are lower because we're adding champions to the pool that are down in the, you know, A, B, and C tier. It makes it even harder to get those S tier and S+ champions like your Hegemon and all those up there in the top row. So when you hear people talking about how they're disappointed because the champion pool is getting diluted or watered down, and how it's actually a bad thing for the game to add some of these champions, that's what they mean, is it makes it even harder, and it makes voids worth less money and have less value the harder it is to actually get something super impactful out of them. And then down on the bottom tier, you can see you've got Annie and an Ethway and Baron and your Carl. kind of bringing up the rear, and then I tried to get everything kind of equally distributed so we could have a nice tier layout of equal representation of each tier and kind of stare it from there. But you know, the thing is as you get towards the bottom, you start to notice a common theme where they're either just way too niche or they're just a damage dealer. You got to bring utility. You gotta do cleansing and or reviving, or lots of buffs like Siffy, or have a super cool thing like Hegemon, where he always goes first the first round. That's an insane ability. He also locks people out. You've got Warlord that can lock people out, put everything on cooldown, even through an immunity set, because it doesn't qualify as like a debuff. So people that bring super specific roles do a lot of buffs, a lot of debuffs. Those are going to be the ones that manipulate the battlefield and end up rising to the top of the tier list. Things that just do damage, you know, they're going to end up down here unless there's something like a Trunda, like if they're literally the hardest hitter in the game, or if they've got something super special like Leorius with making him really tough to kill and get off of the board. So you need something special like that if you're going to be just a damage dealer and rise up the ranks. You know, unfortunately, the ones like Annie and Baron and stuff, they just don't bring stuff like that to the table to go ahead and rise up the board. But yeah, that is the short and sweet version of kind of a fun event that I did over live on Twitch to go ahead and get all of these champions rated. Like I said earlier, I would love to hear what you think down below. Make the comment section kind of an opportunity to discuss amongst ourselves and help make this more accurate. Wherever you disagree with me and think I'm crazy, I would love to hear it. And wherever you agree and think that something's accurate, I would enjoy hearing that as well, so I can go ahead and read through that and make this more accurate over time. Also, massive shout out to my good friend Cold for taking the time to pop it on stream, and also the viewers that took the time to be interactive in the chat and help me go ahead and throw this together. So that is going to do it for me on this one. And if you would like a picture of this, I will go ahead and put it down below in the pinned comment, the show notes, stuff like that. I'll go ahead and upload this so you can pull this up and take a look whenever you would like. So that'll do it for me on this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.